So, if we're going to look at each of these subheadings, the way that your research report should be put together is it could start with a kind of overview of what the brand is. What is the brand of that artist? So we know that brand means your core value and identity. It doesn't mean your logo or your slogan or the fact that you're yellow and red like McDonald's. It's about what you stand for or what the thing stands for. So you could include an overview as to what the specific artist that you're doing a research report on stands for, what's their core value and belief. Now, we know at the moment, like Beyonce, I've not said we're not going to do Beyonce, but she's easy to talk about because we all know quite a lot about her. She is very much, her brand at the moment is very much about female empowerment and identity and racial and sexual equality. So you could, for example, if you were to do Beyonce, which you're not, you could really explore how then she promotes those core values through all of her creative outputs. So if we're now going to break down all of the different subheadings, what is creative repertoire? Well, this is very interesting because now we live in a sort of what we could call a multidisciplinary age, where an example of an artist, say Kanye West, he operates in a number of different domains. So he puts music out and he plays shows and promotes his music, but he also runs a fashion label, and I don't know a huge amount about Kanye West, but I'm pretty sure he does lots of other stuff as well. We've also got will.i.am, who is a musician, but he also does TV shows, and I think he runs some kind of crazy electronics recycling company. I saw a documentary he was with Joanna Lumley of all people, talking about his new company. So we've got a kind of a new world where musicians are involved in many other things, and creative repertoire is that. It's about all the things that the artist does. Music. So we obviously know what music is, but what exactly do we mean when we're talking about music in this sense? Well, it all relates to the brand. So it is how, for example, Beyonce communicates her feminist and racial equality message through her music. So that could be talking about references both lyrically and sonically to other genres that talk about that. Videos is the same as music. So we're looking at a lot of these kinds of signs and symbols. Now, the academic word for this is semiotics. I'm not expecting you to use it. You can use signs and symbols, but we're looking for the communication of meaning. Exactly the same with photos. In class we looked at Lady Leisure or Lady Leisha. Couldn't really agree on how to talk about how to say her name, but we looked at, for example, she was photographed in front of a council estate, which sends a very definite meaning of from a certain background and communicating a raw and urban message, as opposed to going out into the forest and having her picture taken. We also looked a lot about the baseball cap and the fact that a baseball cap has a connection to hip hop. We talked about the fact she had Queen written on her t-shirt, and Queen as a statement is a very powerful one. It could be boss or ruler, which again works very well, and the fact that she wore her trousers pretty low, which is a sort of almost like turning a masculine kind of gesture up on its head. It also has its roots in hip hop, going back to where a lot of people would be in prison and their clothes didn't fit, so they were baggy or falling down. So all of these things have kind of cultural meanings. Now, one person in the class, Lane, made a great point, which is, I don't really think that Lady Leisure or Lady Leisha thinks about all those things when she's putting her outfit together. And that is really true. No, she doesn't think consciously, oh, I'm gonna, make my trousers a bit lower. I completely agree. She doesn't think like that. But a critical analysis is us looking at those signs and symbols. But what Lady Leisha, I'm going to decide to call her Lady Leisha because it sounds to me better than Lady Leisure. What Lady Leisha did decide to do was go with that outfit for her photo shoot. And this is what being an artist is about. You have a photo shoot coming up, you've got your whole collection of clothes in your wardrobe, and you have to choose one or maybe two or maybe three at most outfits for the day that are going to best communicate your message. So in order to do that, you need to really understand what your message is, and you need to understand in other people what meaning do they get out of the clothes you're wearing. So, biog. Biog's a difficult one. I don't think you should write too much about a biog because it's not really something that carries as much weight in today's media and look out, message. Biog is not something that carries as much importance in the social media world as it used to do before social media. But what you can look at is on someone's Facebook profile and on their Twitter profile. Wow, 2 messages. Sorry, that's really thrown me. What you can look at is when someone writes their little bit on SoundCloud or Twitter or Facebook, what do they say about themselves? What's their little thing, and how does that communicate their brand identity? So stage clothes, again, it's very similar to photos, but not only like what you're wearing, but what are you asking your band to wear, or what are you asking your backing singers to wear? Because we know that the stage show needs to have a united, communicated message of what you're trying to do. And we also know that it's the same backing singers, for example, sing for Beyonce, that sing for Lady Gaga, that sing for Katy Perry, and sing for Taylor Swift, because there was that kind of Twitter war between, I think, Taylor Swift and someone else, Beyonce or Gaga, or Katy Perry. Someone had stolen the best dancers and someone else was pissed off about it. But yeah, you need to think about what message that you're trying to send and what to dress your dancers in that represents your particular brand identity. Performance, again, there are many nuances to performance, whether like an artist is looking directly at the audience, or whether, they're shoegaze and they're looking at their feet, whether they decide to speak in between songs, whether it's a showy kind of show with lots of crowd interaction, like make some noise, or whether it's a kind of more introverted indie Radiohead style show where Tom York isn't just going to say, make some noise, I want everyone to do this, because they're not that kind of band, and that's not their message, and that's not their identity, and ultimately it would send the wrong message to their fans. So all of these aspects of performance, whether there's like Tom York's probably not going to go off for a costume change, whereas Lady Gaga or Katy Perry might do 20 costume changes. So it's all of these aspects of performance that you're looking at. How does the message of the artist get communicated through their performance? Again, stage lighting. We looked at a band in the class called the Sleaford Mods. Now, when they were on Jools Holland, they opted for a laptop on a beer keg and very stark, simple lights, which communicated their message of honesty, authenticity, and a kind of stripped back sound and meaning. Whereas, for example, we looked at St Vincent on Jools Holland, which her lighting was very elaborate. There was a big set piece in the background, and she was communicating a very different message. And finally, social media fan relationships. How does that artist relate to their fans? Are they available? Are they unavailable? Do they respond to everything? Do they kind of build up that kind of recluse genius kind of persona? What kind of things do they tweet about? What's important to them? These kind of things. I hope that's made it clearer. Good luck, and I'm available. Hit me up for any comments. If you particularly don't understand something, I can make another little video explaining that. Okay, see you.